Hi everyone. Today I continue from last lesson mechanical waves and how can we find wavelength of waves. Let's start with the exercise. Okay, the period of a wave is given as 0.5 second. How many wavelengths pass a given point in 5 seconds? Okay, the period of a wave is given 0 point. Period is equal 0.5 second. This is for one wavelength. In 5 seconds, how many wavelength is passing? Now I will prepare a equation. If one wavelength symbol is like this, lambda. If one wavelength is passing in 0.5 second, in 5 seconds, how many wavelength will pass? It is x. And my equation x multiplying 0.5 is equal 5. And after calculate, x is equal 5 over 0.5, it is 10. In 5 seconds, 10 wavelength is passing. Next example. A source produces 40 waves in 8 seconds. What are the period and frequency of the waves? Solution. Okay, which information we know? We know 40 waves is passing in 8 seconds. If 40 waves is passing in 8 seconds, one wave will pass in how much seconds? This is my equations. X multiplying 40 is equal 8. X is equal 8 over 40 is equal 1 over 5. This is my period. Because always one wave is passing in one complete time. One complete time means period. Okay, what is the relationship between the period and frequency? T multiplying F is equal 1. If period is equal 1 over 5, frequency we don't know and it's equal 5, 1. And after calculate, frequency is equal 5, unit is hertz. Next exercise. A wave has a frequency of 300 hertz and a speed of 1200 meter over second. What is the wavelength of this wave? Okay, check the questions. Which information we know? We know frequency F, 300 hertz, and we know speed. Speed symbol is V, 1200 meter over second, and it is asking wavelength. Okay, if we know frequency, we can find period. What is the relationship between the period and frequency? T multiplying F is equal 1. Period, we don't know. Frequency is 300 is equal 1. My period is equal, I think, 1 over 300 seconds. Then continue. If I use speed formula, speed is equal wavelength over period. And speed is 1200. Wavelength we don't know, and period we found 1 over 300. And 20 and 20 simplified. After mathematical calculate, my result wavelength is equal 4 meters. Next example from your book. Page number 146 and 60 questions. Please check your book. What is the frequency? What is the frequency of radio waves having a wavelength of 300 meters? The speed of radio waves in a vacuum is the speed of light. C is equal 3 times 10 to the 8 meter over second. This is always constant. Okay, let's solve together. Which inform we know? We know wavelength. Wavelength is equal 300 meters. And we know speed of light. C is equal 3 times 10 to the power 8 meter over second. And it is asking find the frequency. And for find the frequency, first we have to find period also. Okay, when I use speed formula, speed is equal wavelength over period. And instead we have to write C because this is speed of light. And wavelength over T. Speed of light how much? 3 times 10 to the 8 is equal. Wavelength is equal 300 meter and period we don't know. And look at here. This here 20 and 20 simplified. And 3 and 3 also simplified. And T multiplying 10 to the 6 is equal 1. And period is equal 1 over 10 to the 6 seconds. This is my period. Frequency, for frequency we know relationship between the period and frequency T multiplying F is equal 1. If period 1 over 10 to the power 6 multiplying F is equal 1, after calculate, frequency is equal 10 to the power 6 and unit is hertz. Okay, next example. Okay, for water waves, and my speed is equal 75 centimeter over second, and wavelength for every wave 5 centimeter. And what is the period and what is the frequency? Okay, we know speed of water waves, we know wavelength of waves, and we don't know period and frequency. If I use speed formula, speed is equal wavelength over time, and speed is 75, wavelength is 5 centimeter over t. And after calculate t multiplying 75 is equal 5, period is equal 1 over 15 second. Frequency t multiplying f is equal 1. If period 1 over 15 multiplying frequency is equal 1, frequency is equal 15, unit is hertz. Okay, for today that's all. See you next lesson.